My little sister has an obsession with cutting the faces off baby dolls, stuffed animals, and putting them on other dolls. Help! Your little sister is either a potential plastic surgeon or serial killer. There's no in between. Hi there. 150 tarantula spiderlings produced in my bedroom. In July 2018, scientists from Russia collected and analyzed 300 prehistoric worms from the permafrost in the Arctic. After being thawed, 2 of the worms began to move and eat. One is dated at 32,000 years old, the other is 41,700 years old. Legs on this bodybuilder. Big-eye Grendelier fish. They usually stay very deep, near the ocean bottom. Found behind drywall during renovation of my brother's house, Illinois. The way my neighbor's door look now. I have no idea why. This foot 2 days after a rattlesnake bite. This letter one of my co-workers received from a customer a few years ago. Dear, happy February and Valentine. You struck me interesting the last time I was in. I offered you a bite of my fig, you declined. Do you remember? I would like to go for coffee so we could chat. I don't smoke, nor do I use drugs. I drink a very little. I paint landscapes, listen to music, walk and hike the hulls, and I fish. If you ran on the river and need help, I'd swim the distance and save you. I'll be in touch. Robert. The anchor horsehole of a sunken ship. This street lamp in Wrocław. These hidden messages in clothing tags. I have dental pain. Help me. An octopus with 32 tentacles found off the coasts of South Korea. The devil's fingers fungus. Mushrooms growing off of a stuffed bear. My sister found my first grader nephew drawing something. When she looked, this is what she found. It's her and her husband in the grave and him holding on to his younger brother, and both of them are crying. In Australia, this snake had 3 eyes. Laying in the emergency room for chest pains and looking up to see this. 10-year-old actor Asa Butterfield in the chamber scene of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas 2008. He said, I remember being in a room full of men, some of whom were completely naked, and it was dark, and they shut the door on us, and it was just awful. Walking home 4 miles in abandoned railroad tracks, no other way to get home unless I want to walk through gang-run drug areas. That's the scary part, this is safer. My tooth has really long roots. So did you like the zoo? My hotel window on the 8th floor has a window that opens from the bottom and opens up far enough to fall through the frame. A co-worker heard I baked and requested a cherry pie for a friend's birthday. I made her this. This banana blossom. This 9,000-year-old stone mask is the oldest mask in the world and was found in the Judean desert in Israel. Lighthouse by the coast of Iceland. Perhaps the most terrifying space photograph to date. Astronaut Bruce McCandless' second floats completely untethered, away from the safety of the space shuttle, with nothing but his manned maneuvering unit keeping him alive. The first person in history to do so. The Ronald McDonald statue in front of the McDonald's in my town. Looks like the tree absorbed someone. Nurses standing with mentally ill patients wrapped in wet linens. Thought to be calming for them. Fishers caught something strange. Crawled through a storm drain with my friend. Someone anonymously sent this to my neighbor. Something bad is going to happen to your dog if you don't get its barking under control. A rare type of parasitic twin that occurs in 2 to 3 cases per 5 million newborns. There's a building in my city that has no windows. I've been waking up every day this past week with a new bug bite on the right side of my body. Woke up at 1 a.m. to see this guy on my blanket. The Italian Fascist Party's headquarters, 1934. Went to the ear doctor today. This came out of my left ear. caterpillar full of parasitic wasp larvae. Abandoned Chuck E. Cheese animatronic found in a landfill. Forbidden dollhouse. Found these in my girlfriend's loft. She only moved in 3 months ago and says she has never been up there. Guess what my name is? One of the last known pictures taken by the hikers of the Dyatlov Pass incident 1959. When my daughter was born, she felt very familiar. It felt like I saw this baby before. When she was 3, I was driving and we stopped at a stop sign. From the back, she remarks, "Oh, remember, you didn't stop before. That's where we died last time." Found this in my apartment while living in Japan. They are fast. What happens in cartoons when characters take their glasses off is true. In Australia, we don't lock our doors because we're scared of armed intruders. We lock our doors to keep the ducking roos out. I hope your dreams are good, human. What the chances my neighbor's house has a dead body? I'd like to nominate cardboard humans watching baseball in a dystopian hellscape for Photo of the Year, thanks. Hoover Dam spillway tunnel, 50 feet wide and 600 feet deep. You can hear rushing water down in the darkness. The walkway above gives a sense of scale. Mosquito flies in front of the lens. A peanut lodged inside a child's trachea. SpaceX has robot dogs patrolling their rocket factory now. This happens to my hands at cold temperatures. I work graveyard at the mall alone. This was in the middle of the floor at 4 a.m. this morning. Imagine being a person who doesn't know what apes are seeing this. This isn't a Halloween haunted house. It's a part of a factory my brother worked in. The Danish special forces are just militarized sleep paralysis demons. People offering prayers at the Yamuna River, India, which is frothing from industrial waste. Texas City shares photo of unidentified entity outside zoo. Was playing video games when I heard a sounds to my left. Looked over and saw this. Researchers in China have carried out a head transplant on a monkey. They connected up the blood supply between the head and the new body, but did not attempt to connect the spinal cord. The monkey fully survived the procedure without any neurological injury. It was kept alive for only 20 hours. Found this lil cutie on my bed. In the basement of my Airbnb. Woman designs masks that are custom printed with your own face. This is the Witch's Ball in a cemetery in Memphis, Michigan. Weighing almost 3,000 pounds, it has slowly been moving upwards since 1903. One is Portland, the other is Fallout 4. Fallout has cleaner air. Just some regular rubber gloves washing accidentally opened the gate of hell. The girl cursed with the inability to feel physical pain. She rarely eats or sleeps because of her inability to feel hunger or tiredness. The only known case of chromosome 6 deletion, where a person does not feel pain, hunger, or the need to sleep and subsequently no sense of fear, is a 7-year-old girl named Olivia Farnsworth. In 2016, she was hit by a car and dragged 30 meters, yet felt nothing and emerged with minor injuries. Oh no, my kid discovered the baby monitor. I want a girl who looks at me like Bezos' girlfriend stares into his soul. India's sacred blue cow, the nilgai, also introduced to Texas where it is now feral. Warning. Evacuate the island if you hear 8 short blasts. Tonight 22 after no meal, no water. Tomorrow morning knife 8. Foreign student hospitalized in China gets note from nurse who doesn't speak English. Visit Australia, where there's stuff that bites the heads off crocodiles. Everyone at the doctor's office gathered around for my x-rays because no one has any idea why part of my fibula is just straight up gone. A soldier's face after 4 years of war, 1941 to 1945. This place is not a place of honor. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here. Nothing valued is here. What is here is dangerous and repulsive to us. This message is a warning about danger. First-time mother gives birth to 13 pounds. Baby girl the second biggest in the UK after her bump was so big doctors thought she was having twins and her skin stretched so much it bled. Deja vu area. This your first time here. If this platform feels familiar, immediately alert an MTA employee. If you see something, say something. Waving children. Please wave back. The crucial fourth ice cream bowl was lost at some point, forever altering the vibe. I scream. You scream. We all scream. $75 million to sit in a room with him for 5 minutes. What you do. For $75 million, he need to be worried about sitting in a room with me. People with astigmatism driving at night be like. My daughter made this at school and it lives in my house now. Town stalked by giant 2 meters tall, 95-kilo kangaroo with a torn ear who emerges from the bushes to terrorize dog walkers and golfers. Check out this awesome snake costume my wife made for our daughter. This is so scary. I would not only give her candy, but also my car, my house, and maybe my family members as a ritual sacrifice. A local fisherman in Costa Rica nursed a crocodile back to health after it had been shot in the head and released the reptile back to its home. The next day, the man discovered Poco had followed him home and was sleeping on the man's porch. For 20 years, Poco became part of the man's family. Men of Reddit, what do you think is more painful than childbirth? Acute radiation poisoning. Fun fact, it's impossible to administer painkillers effectively. Once your body starts decomposing with you still alive inside of it, there's nothing but pain left. Man, that was so fun. What a fun fact to read. X-ray images of broken needles that had become embedded in the patient's neck after years of heroin misuse. Rape has become endemic in South Africa, so a medical technician named Sonette Ehlers developed a product for women to fight back. Ehlers had never forgotten a rape victim telling her forlornly, "If only I had teeth down there." Ehlers created a product she called Rapex. It resembles a tube with barbs inside. The woman inserts it like a tampon, and any man who tries to rape the woman impales himself on the barbs and must go to an emergency room to have the Rapex removed. Some critics say this is a medieval punishment. That funny moment when you find the AirTag someone put on your car. Bed throw blanket, wool luxury throw, woven bedspread. In the Welsh Christmas tradition of Mari Lywyd, a horse skull visits your home singing rhymes outside your door. That's not even the best part. The person inside needs to sing back with excuses why Elwyd can't come in. It goes back and forth until one gives up. If the person in the house can't respond, they let Elwyd in and it gets to raid your pantry and drink all your beer. So you're wrapped battling a horse skeleton to keep all your alcohol. And here I thought the Welsh had nothing to offer besides consonants. My friend is stacking his coke in the front hall. This is about a week's worth. 4 children for sale. Inquire within. Wait, there's bugs on broccoli? The toilet at my workplace. The world's widest freeway. On Katy Freeway in Houston, Texas, consisting of 26 lanes. The freeway is broken down into 12 main lanes, 8 feeder lanes, and 6 managed lanes. Climbers shelter at the middle of a cliff. Male, 57 last night. I wiped down all the sinks and countertops in my bathroom. This morning, this long hair was there. I'm the only one that lives here. Guinness Book of World Records. Smallest waist. Kathy Jung has a remarkable 15-inch waist. The mouth of an Arctic lamprey. This is just terrifying. This indoor swimming pool. Disturbing capture of someone in a cage. A 1,200-year-old bound mummy found in Peru. Tongue-eating parasite found inside fish's mouth. This deer got another deer's head stuck on its antler. So my daughter just bought a house that was built in late 1800s. We found this, and she threw it out. I got it out of the trash and let the games begin. What is my neighbor doing in their garage? signature evolution in Alzheimer's disease. Away stand of Sevilla Football Club Stadium. One slip and you're going to enter the void. My dog brought something back for us today. Imagine going to explore your ski resort on holiday and running into this. Stop! Ski area boundary. Non-survivable. Extreme winter terrain down this drainage. Hike back up is only return to ski area. You will die if you do not return to ski area. Chinese ghost city. Huge skyscraper areas that no one lives in. Known locations of bodies on Mount Everest. Do an oil change, they said. Ignore the mess, they said. My wife found this trail cam pointed at the back door of the restaurant she manages. Every single frog is looking eerily in the same direction. Brock Lesnar's teeth. Lake Mead 1983 versus 2021. The skull of Mary Magdalene in St. Maximin Basilica in France. Civilians taking care of zoo animals in their own homes during World War II. Photograph of German World War II propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels after he found out his photographer is Jewish. This power line happened to be laid straight through the skull of an Anglo-Saxon woman buried in a previously undiscovered 6th century graveyard. Rare red sprites found in the sky, usually above thunderstorms. The Titanic in comparison to a modern cruise ship. Found in a house in eastern Oregon high desert area, described as oozing when touched. Lady Gaga clubbing in Paris. The sailfin dragon Hydrosaurus lives in the rainforest of the Philippines. My hand after swimming today. This person's apparent hatred for cyclists. The little razor-sharp nail pieces growing from my amputated fingertip. The coffin homes of Hong Kong. Don't know where else to post this, but this is the original Yoda puppet today. Name checks out, ogre-faced spider. These two boys had been exposed to the same smallpox source. One had been vaccinated, the other hadn't. Some stranger. You, my friend, need to find God. Me begins to search for God. The God I find. My eyes currently filled with blood after a bronchoscopy yesterday afternoon. No filter. Cinder blocks and cement-filled buckets with ropes tied to them found at the bottom of a dried-up dam. Waving goodbye in the suicide capsule. This abandoned hospital had a visitor last night. Chicken with a genetic defect. An image created by an eye with keywords abandoned prison covered in fog. My boyfriend fell asleep making pizza. It cooked for 9 hours. Picture of a man with schizophrenia before and after his lobotomy. The lower dungeon of Warwick Castle. An oubliette where prisoners were dropped and forgotten about. In 2009, cave explorer John Edwards got trapped headfirst in Nutty Putty Cave, Utah, USA, and couldn't be rescued. He suffered cardiac arrest after being inverted for 28 hours and died with his body still trapped upside down. The caves have been shut with concrete now. Portland man found his tires slashed and this note on his car. You were so easy to find, Mark. You should drive more carefully. The remains of the astronaut Vladimir Komarov, a man who fell from space 1967. Fingers without nails. Ponty City Apartments in Johannesburg, South Africa. The tallest residential building on the African continent. Still one of the creepiest images I've seen. Stop! Prevent you death go no farther. The cork lid trapdoor spider. If you see what looks like an ancient coin buried in sand, Leave it alone. A humbling message outside a cemetery in the middle of the woods. Pause a moment. As you pass by, as you are now. So once were we. As we are now, so shall you be. Eye injury causes man's iris to collapse. A schizophrenic patient's last drawing before suicide. The elephant's foot. When it was originally found, standing by it for 5 minutes would kill you. Kill every buffalo you can. Every buffalo dead is an Indian gone. The American bison is the new US national mammal, but its slaughter was once seen as a way to starve Native Americans into submission. This very suspicious suitcase a guy put under the seat before promptly exiting. What has he done? House while hiking in the Appalachian trails. There were no paths or roads going to this house. Big for your information. Hammerhead worms are here. Please be cautious when working in your yard. A friend of mine just sent me a picture of his dinner. A slice of cheese, salt, pepper, Tabasco, soy sauce. Ignore the toe. Disney technicians repairing an animatronic figure. 280-million-year-old fossil found in Western Australia. List of McDonald's products. Hamburgers. McDonald's beef patties are seasoned with salt and ground pepper. If you can read this, please send police to 43 Salt Marsh Crescent Point Cook, Victoria, Australia. I have been kidnapped and this is the only way I can get help. Police number is 000. Please send help. I will remove this of here when I have been found. This list is based on core menu items in the United States, with some additions from global products. In 1783 Bengal, a boy was born with 2 heads and the second head was upside down with the neck pointed straight up. The second head had a fully functional brain and whispered random stuffs to the other brain. When the boy slept, the secondary head would often be observed alert and awake, eyes darting about. When the main head was fed, the second head would produce saliva. Terrified parents tried to get rid of the baby by throwing him into a fire, but he survived to die at the age of 4 from a cobra bite. Which is creepier, this animatronic Elvis I ripped the face off of while disassembling it, or this selfie with me wearing its face? The fact that you thought of doing this at all. My water bottles almost just scared me to death. In 1973, 2 men went to police claiming to have been abducted by aliens. The police thought they were lying, so they left them alone in the room with a secret recording device. To their surprise, they kept on talking about what happened and how scared they were. I recently learned that volcano snails exist. Their shells are made of iron and they live around hydrothermal vents that can reach up to 750 degrees Fahrenheit. Has scales, lives around extreme heat, protected by iron. That's a dragon. One of the most frightening things I've ever heard is when someone pointed out that the existence of the Uncanny Valley implies that at some point there was an evolutionary reason to be afraid of something that looked human but wasn't. You would be better off sandpapering a lion's ass in a pair of pork chop panties than be caught on the other side of this fence. Queen Elizabeth II had 2 severely disabled first cousins, Nerissa and Catherine Leon, who were publicly pronounced dead in 1940 and 1961 respectively. However, they were actually hidden in a care home for mentally disabled people without any visits or support from the royal family until their deaths in 1986 and 2014. Is this the year I finally used chicken wire to make yard ghosts? The way my soul would leave my body if I even caught a glimpse of these. She sneezed during a panoramic selfie photo. What? Is that a mind reader? Mind control? I can't control myself. What's she doing to me? Wait, I'm leaping over? Is that creature doing this? That trap is huge. What's going on here? The traps were left by the previous owner. So irresponsible. I was removing them when I saw you standing right on the trigger. Wait, you're saying you did that to save my life? Of course. I don't want my house to be haunted by your ghost. And shouldn't you be wearing clothes more appropriate to an adventure? Mr. Mind Reaver, wait a moment and he's gone. I didn't get a chance to thank him. Car crash. It's Matt's birthday. Haley, Matt and Jam. Swoosh speeding down the highway. Jem at the wheel sliding side to side. Swerve to miss the stupid penguin. Car flips on the side. Silence for a second. Falling Matt as his leg snaps on window. Blood spitting everywhere. Jam and Haley fly through the air. Jam hangs from power line. Haley's legs stuck up a tree. Sneaky snake bites dangling foot. The wake to strange sounds of people yelling in pain. This was in my dentist's waiting room. Stephen King in the 70s. Stephen King in his 70s. Is this a threat? You're low on ink, never run low on ink again. Eugene, found dead 1929, buried 1964. Never been more scared of a dog. Danger. Never open this door after dark. Always look before you open this door. Your life could depend on it. Selling chicken teddy bears homemade. I make them myself. Chickens have lots of extra parts when you are cooking them, so I can make a bear out of 2 chickens. $25 if you supply chicken, $35 if I provide the chicken. Edible and can be cooked once the kids are done playing with it. It's a great family activity. Instead of carving the jack-o'-lantern myself this year, I poked a bunch of small holes in a pumpkin and stuffed the holes with peanut butter. I then let the squirrels go at it for 2 days. The result is something truly disturbingly. I was hunting with my grandfather for my 19th birthday about a year ago, and we both watched a deer slam its head into a rock until its antlers and skull were shattered. Once its brains were everywhere, it tried to lick them up and looked like it couldn't even use its jaw or tongue right. So it just stood upright like a ducking human and just walked into the river and died. We left immediately, and my granddad was ducking terrified. I haven't been near woods since, and he moved to Florida with my grandmother for safety reasons.